discuss the gallbladder, whether you have one or not. And the reason I wanted to talk about the gallbladder, because this is Women's Health Month, and the most common time of your life to have problems with your gallbladder, this is how we were taught in medical school. It's called fat, fertile, and 40, and female. So fat, fertile, fertile, female, 40. That's the most common age group or person or patient to develop gallbladder problems. And the reason I wanted to bring this up during Women's Health Month is because it does happen to women way more often and more frequent than men. And I've also noticed there are some very rare occasions, not a lot, but if you have a gallbladder that's not healthy in the first place, and you start our Puta Vida transformation system, and you start in that first stage, the lose it stage, where you take all oils and fats out of your diet, and you get into this deep nutritional ketosis, detoxification, autophagy, cellular eating, eating up precancerous cells, eating up diseased tissue, bad cells. Bad cells, this is a good cell. This is a rainbow. This is a good cell. Bad cells cannot adapt. So when you're in a fasting mimicking state and you have turned on the power of inside healing, cellular healing, autophagy, bad cells, unhealthy cells, cells that are not at optimal functioning level cannot adapt. What does that mean? That means bad cells die. Your body uses bad cells for fuel. So when you're in that first stage, stage 1, the lose it stage, the detox stage, the cleansing stage, the fasting mimicking stage, the autophagy stage, you have turned on this amazing inner healing, innate wisdom, and you've allowed the body to start prioritizing and working on what needs to be worked on. So when you're in stage 1, when you're in the lose it stage, when you're in deep fat burning, when you're in autophagy, and there's unhealthy cells or unhealthy organelles within the cell, what happens is the body goes in and just like little Pac-Man, it goes in and the body eats those cells up, kills those cells, apoptosis, kills the cells. Guess what's in all of those cells? So remember, toxins are fat soluble. In other words, most toxins, heavy metals, pesticides, BPA from plastics, lead, mercury, glyphosates, they are fat soluble. In other words, they have an affinity for fat. Where is there fat in your body? 3 main places fat is in your body. The cell membrane, there's over 50 to 100 trillion cells in your body. The cell membrane, the lining of your cells, every single cell in your body is 2 layers of fat. So if you have toxins in your system, and if you're living on this planet, you do, then those toxins are going to have an affinity and they're going to go to the cell membrane because it's made up of 2 layers of fats. The other place they're going to go is fat tissue, fat cells that are filled with fat. So toxins are going to go in there. And then the third place they're going to go to is in the brain. The brain is made up of a lot of, there's a lot of the myelin sheath, there's a lot of fat coating along the neurons. So the brain is mostly fat. So toxins in your body are going to go into the cell membrane, into the fat cells, fat tissue, fat areas, or into the brain. So when you're in stage 1, don't worry, I'm getting to the gallbladder. Like, where's this going, Dr. CJ? And as you've probably already sensed, my energy is like, it's normally like right here, and it's like right up here right now, because Dr. CJ is doing a 20-day mini program right now. And I think day 7, day 8, I think I'm day 8 day 8. So my brain's turning on. I've gotten all the junk out of my system. I'm all that stuff that I'm talking to you about. I don't know people on the call right now, if you're on Facebook watching live, or if you're watching this training video after the fact. If you're in stage 1, you are doing exactly what I'm doing. You're burning fat. The toxins that are in your brain, that are in your fat cells, that are in your cell membrane, guess what's happening? They're leaving. So as you're detoxifying, as toxins are being stirred up, because before stage 1, there's all these toxins that are coming into the body over time, toxins that are accumulating in your body over time. The liver is where the body absorbs and filters toxins. The liver can only handle so much filtration. The liver can only handle so much detoxification. Whereas there's so much toxins coming into your system over the years, the liver's like, oh my God, this is just too much. I can't do this. I can't filter all these toxins. I can only filter, I don't know, 20% of them. So what is the body going to do with the rest of them? It's going to push them away into a private little safe place, the cell membrane, your fat cells, and into your brain. And it's going to like protect your body from those toxins until you have the time and the space and the energy and the perfect circumstance to start to get rid of those toxins, which is exactly what the lose it stage is designed for. So as you start getting these toxins out of these little sacred, safe places, the brain, the cell membrane, and the fat cells, so that belly fat, the fat in your hips, the fat in your thighs, the fat in your arms, as the body starts releasing those toxins, where are the main detoxification pathways? Well, the main place those toxins are going to go to, first of all, as you eat them up, the toxins, first of all, will get thrown into the bloodstream, which they weren't there before. So sometimes during stage 1, people start having these different little symptoms because these neatly little packaged toxins that now are being opened up and taken out of these deep, dark places and into the bloodstream. Now the body is like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with all these toxins? And what happens? Sometimes you get rashes on your skin. Your skin is your largest detoxification organ. So during stage 1, or during a water fast, or during any type of cleanse, which Lose It is a great cleanse. It's a fasting mimicking state. A 5-day water fast is a cleanse. You are going to have possibly different detoxification symptoms, and a rash is one. People have rashes like on their, like under their arms and their on their armpits, sometimes on the inner thighs. Sometimes they'll have rashes on their face, and that's the body just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with all these toxins? Let's get them out. So the rash is to get out the toxins. The other thing that happens, and the other place those toxins go, is so the main detoxification pathways is your skin, right? Sweating it out. The other detoxification pathway is breathing it out through your lungs. And then you have your liver and your digestive system. So the liver is a main detoxification pathway. You also have your urinary tract, so that you can pee out toxins, you can poop out toxins, which involves the liver, you can sweat out toxins, and you can breathe out toxins. So when you're in stage 1, when you're in Lose It, if you already have a liver that's not very happy, which has a direct effect on your gallbladder, and I'll talk about that in a second, that stage 1, where all of those toxins are being released, that can create, or that can allow to surface, a hidden problem. The hidden problem is too many toxins and an unhealthy liver. And the hidden problem of the unhealthy liver has a direct effect on the gallbladder. So let's talk about the gallbladder. What is the gallbladder? Do you need a gallbladder? What does a gallbladder do anyway? So a gallbladder is just a little storage pouch. It's just a little pouch. It's just a little bladder that sits right below the liver, And the liver is where all the detoxification happens. The liver actually produces a substance called bile, B-I-L-E. So the gallbladder doesn't make anything. The gallbladder just stores. It's like a little storage pouch. It stores bile. Well, what's bile? Bile is primarily made of cholesterol, steroid hormones, bile salts, and toxins. So the liver makes bile. It squirts it out all day long, just a little squirt, little squirt, little squirt. And then the pouch, the gallbladder, little squirt, and then the bile just sits in that little pouch, in that little bladder. And then what is the bile for? The bile is primarily designed to digest, absorb, emulsify fats. So when you eat healthy fats, you eat them, you digest them, they go into your stomach. And then when the food is broken down enough in the stomach, what happens after that? It goes out of the stomach and it goes into the small intestine, the duodenum. And as it goes into the duodenum, and if there's, depending on what you ate, whether it's protein, carbs, or fats, if there's a lot of fats in what you ate and it passes by the gallbladder senses and knows that there's fat in that food passing by. So it's like a river. So right? You eat the food, it goes down the tube, the food tube, the esophagus, and it goes into the stomach, and the stomach does this and starts breaking it all down. And then once it's broken down into the stomach, then it goes out of the stomach into the small intestine. So it takes a right and it goes down through this little river, the duodenum. And as it passes by the gallbladder's like, ooh, there's fat in there. And fat is crucial to your health. So the gallbladder's like, oh, I got this big storage house of bile that I've been saving up for the last 5-6 hours, let's say, because remember the liver is always squirting out little bit of bile, little squirt here, little squirt there, and then the gallbladder is going to go, oh, there's fat there. I'm gonna let out all my bile so that I can emulsify that fat, because I want to be able to use that fat to make healthy cell membranes. I want to use that fat to make hormones. I want to use that fat to hydrate my skin. See, the body uses healthy fats for all kinds of functions. So fat is good. Fat doesn't make you fat. What makes you fat? Sugar makes you fat because why? When you eat sugar or carbs, what is released in your body? Insulin is released when you eat sugar. So fat doesn't make you fat. In fact, fat doesn't create a secretion or a release of insulin at all. There's no change in insulin levels when you eat fat. Sugar and carbs release insulin, and too much protein releases insulin.